Oh, hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. How are you? You caught me sniffing on my oils. Yeah, I've got a benzoin here. Ta-da! And then I've got rosemary from Tunisia here. The benzoin, soft, creamy, almost edible. The rosemary, freaking strong. This really has nothing to do with today's video, but it is a fun thing to do if you have the opportunity to get yourself just a whole mess load of different aroma chemicals and natural oils and give them a whiff. But no, today's video is about 15 men's fragrances that will make you feel unstoppable. Fragrances that will level up your fragrance game. We've got niche, we've got designer, we have mad cheap, we've got not quite as cheap. A lot of different fragrances. Let's jump into it. Friends, these will be linked down below. Feel free to check them out down there. And a friendly reminder that my fragrances will also make you feel unstoppable. These fragrances, Terra Nova, Blue Ridge, Jet Black, Enigma, all three can be found in every Perfumania, every fragrance outlet in the country, or you can order them off Mike Muller's website. Link in the description, code GENTS, 20% off your order. Let's kick it off with Eau de Parfum's Enigma Parfum Cologne, or also this one is known as Creation E, as my bottle right here says. Depends on where you live as to whether you're getting the Enigma or the E. This one has a ton of notes like you would expect from Eau de Parfum, but the ones that stand out the most are gonna be cognac, tobacco, and vanilla, along with a great warm spiciness. It has almost an effervescence when you spray it on, a sparkle to it. It's a hype beast, absolutely a hype beast, and I do think it smells fantastic. Parfum Cologne version is gonna be the cheapest of the bunch, and so for most people out there, this is probably gonna be the one that they go for. But if you wanna ramp it up and spend even more money, you can get higher concentration versions of this that are gonna be even richer, even deeper. After that, let's hop over to a cheapie. It is Trussardi's My Land. Interesting bottle, interesting presentation here. You've got the atomizer built into the top. You have a leather belt that goes around the bottle. And then my favorite part is there's a little line right here that says full. And I love that they had to put that there because they knew that there were going to be people who saw this when they bought it not being filled to the tippy top, and they were like, wait a second here, take a step back and scrog your own face. This is not full. So they put that little full line to let you know that's where it should be. It's okay. But I imagine some people still, even with that full line, were like, what is going on here? So this has leather, lavender, and vetiver. It has a nice sweetness to it. It actually smells similar to CH Men by Carolina Herrera. It is an under the radar, hidden gem kind of fragrance, big compliment puller with great versatility. My Land, solid scent. Okay, next one is another big hype beast. So the two niche so far are big hype beasts, and then the designer is not. The niche fragrance that we're talking about next is Naxos from Xerjoff. Citrus, lavender, and honey, some of the notes in the fragrance, along with, of course, tobacco, because this is one of the most hyped, most heralded tobacco fragrances of all time. It does a great job kind of mixing the sweeter facets of a men's fragrance with fresher facets of men's fragrance. So it's not the type of scent that you can only wear in winter. Like this one has great versatility for tobacco scents. Love Naxos, and so many people do. Like I said, hype monster. Since that is niche, you shop twistedlily.com, maxaroma.com, use the code GENTS10, 10% off, and luckyscent.com, the code is GENTS2023 until the end of June for 10% off your order. Next up, let's go with a designer, and this one is it is a very popular fragrance. Versace Eros, the Eau de Parfum. Lemon, tonka, vanilla, great versatility again. Big compliment factor, huge selling fragrance. The Eros line, one of the top selling lines in men's fragrances in the US, easily. And I've said this a number of times, I still say it today, the Eau de Parfum version of Eros is probably the best bet for most people. The Parfum version is my personal favorite because that one is a little bit more elegant, a little bit more grown up. And the Eau de Toilette is gonna be better if you're just wanting the loudest fragrance of the bunch, just the one that's gonna really, get people's attention the most with that sweetness. that bubblegum sort of sweetness. But the Eau de Parfum splits the difference. So you get the best of both worlds and has very good performance. So Eros Eau de Parfum, this one, absolutely got to check that out if you're a fan at all of this line. Let's switch gears. Let's change it up a bit. Cheapy, a designer, a hype beast to an extent, mainly a hype beast for being a cheapy. It's from Lalique. It's Encry Noir. Pretty big change, isn't it? From these last few. Eros Eau de Parfum, Naxos, My Land, even Enigma / Creation E. Pretty easy to wear. Encry Noir, a little more difficult to wear. But if you can pull this off, it will have you smelling unlike anybody else out there. Unless they're also wearing Encry Noir, I guess. As you can tell by the name, by the packaging here, it's a dark fragrance. It has a rooty, kind of earthy vetiver note to it. There's also cypress and cashmere wood. It's a woody fragrance, a mysterious fragrance, you would say, if you have only ever worn freshies. Like, if your whole experience of fragrances is wearing Acqua di Gio Profondo and Invictus Legend or something, you may not be quite ready for this one. So do keep that in mind. Out of all the fragrances here, this is going to be one of the ones, if not the biggest one, that is a little divisive. Let's go back to something easy to wear. Hassavad from Nishane. Pineapple, jasmine, and cedar, some of the notes in the fragrance. And yeah, it does have a similarity, more than a passing similarity, to one Creed Aventus. But to be fair, that style of fragrance, that family of fragrances, just about across the board are all well known for being that type of scent that you can just grab and spray on, and everyone's gonna think you smell awesome. It's gonna boost your confidence, etc., etc. Great performance here. Very nice fruity opening, extremely pleasing, and not too terribly expensive from discounters. Nishane fragrances in general, pretty affordable when you compare them to, oh, I don't know, Creed Aventus. For this next niche one, we're gonna go with Olfactive Studio, Woody Mood. I very much enjoy Woody Mood, but don't be scared off if you don't like woody fragrances. Because this one, while it is a woody scent, obviously with sequoia being in there as one of the main notes, and I mean, it should be, the name is Woody Mood after all, it doesn't have that earthiness to it, really. It doesn't have that green edge to it that some people don't like for whatever reason. I'm a big fan of fragrances with green in them in all aspects, but I know some people don't. So with this one, you're going to get a very nice warmth to it. A little sweetness, but not overly sweet. It has cacao in there, got some ginger off the top to try to help out that opening be a little more balanced, and then saffron as it dries down. And to me, it's just a very wearable, classy woody scent that doesn't lean over into like this kind of rough around the edges, you know, tingling of the nose hairs kind of thing that some woody scents can have. Okay, back to designers, Rocus Mustache Eau de Parfum. A lot of times you can find this from discounters for a pretty good price. It's been compared to YSL's Tuxedo, and it is similar to Tuxedo. For the longest time, if you wanted something close to Tuxedo, but you didn't want to spend that money, this was what you would get. Nowadays, there is the Tux by Maison Alhambra, which is a clone of Tuxedo. So this isn't like standing alone on top of the Tuxedo alternative mountain anymore, but it still is a fantastic scent in its own right. Mandarin, cedar, and benzoin as some of the notes in the fragrance. It's another one that is elegant, refined, sweet, and warm, a big compliment puller. And again, for the price point that you can typically find this for right now at discounters, it is worth a buy. All right, next one is the newest fragrance in this list, and this one I think is my favorite of the bunch. Valentino Womo Born in Roma Intense. Vanilla, lavender, and vetiver, some of the notes in the fragrance. This stuff is just, it is stunning in the air. It's just one of those ones where you catch whiffs of it all day long, and it's just, what can you say? I mean, I was a fan, am a fan of Valentino Womo Intense. I was perturbed when they started going the Invictus route with Born in Roma, but the proof is in the pudding. It sells for Valentino, it makes them money, and this new iteration, for me, is the best of the bunch of this new Born in Roma line. Big compliment puller, as I said. Love it. Let's go back cheaper again. Mont Blanc Legend Night. Apple, cedar, vanilla, and lavender, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one is another fragrance that has that juxtaposition of fresh and sweet married together. And it does it very well. The only drawback here is the performance could be better. Like you could push out a little bit longer, it could last a little bit longer, but since it's not too terribly expensive, you can kind of let that slide because you can just spray more on if you need to, or spray it in your clothing, your jacket, whatever. This one straddles that line of being kind of a seductive, alluring compliment puller, you know, a sexy type fragrance, while also having more versatility than just being a night fragrance, even though that's what it's named. After that, another newer release that is another one like Valentino Womo, Born in Roma Intense, that smells amazing in the air. Another big compliment puller. And it's another one that's kind of following along with the trends right now. The Most Wanted Parfum. Ginger, woods, and vanilla. Some of the notes in the fragrance. It has that very warm, almost sticky sweetness to it, that gourmand edge to it. A little waft of smoke working throughout the fragrance from the woods here. Technically incandescent woods. Love the way it comes across. It's another fragrance that will just absolutely stop people in their tracks. This is getting close to the pinnacle of this style of fragrance in the designer realm. So if you're looking for something during fall and winter cooler months that's going to absolutely crush it, have people falling in love with the way it smells, check this out. Next one is gonna be another newer one that's gonna class it up a little bit more than the Most Wanted. Not that the Most Wanted is not classy, but you'll see what I mean. It's from Narciso Rodriguez, and it is For Him Bleu Noir Parfum. Tonka, sandalwood, cardamom, and of course, iris. Had to work in at least one iris fragrance into this list that is focused around that iris. Of course, there are a number of other fragrances that would have worked here. You know, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Womo Intense that I mentioned before. Really, most of the fragrances in the Gentleman line, if we're being honest. But going with this one. Of those fragrances I just mentioned, this is going to be in the smallest amount of people's rotations. Narciso Rodriguez, while being a fantastic fragrance house, is not quite as popular as the others, but it's just as good. The iris in here smells fantastic. It is going to be more on that makeup-y side, a little bit powdery, a little creamy. The warmth from Tonka in here, very well done. And then those woods give it a nice masculine touch as it dries down. Okay, last niche fragrance, then we'll wrap it up with two designers, one very cheap and one not quite as cheap. The niche fragrance is Ormond Jane's Nawab of Oud Intensivo. I have to say, I am a sucker for these Giza-Schon Ormond Jane fragrances. Just the woodiness in there, the way that it's done in Ormond Jane fragrances, I dig it. Absolutely love it. I mean, they have a definite style to them, a definite DNA to them where you can smell them and just be like, oh yeah, that's an Ormond Jane, huh? Yep. I get those woods, they're a little bit green, aroma chemically, but done in an extremely pleasant way. Oud, spices, florals, fresh. It's, to me, masculine leaning, even though it's technically a unisex scent. Very luxurious, extremely easy to wear. I love that one. I also got Nawab of Oud in recently, so I got both Nawabs, and I gotta say I'm digging them. Okay, going from Ormond Jane to Kenneth Cole. We're getting something a lot cheaper here. Black Bold. Ginger, cedar, mandarin, and leather, some of the notes in the fragrance. Not a surprise, since it has this black faux leather wrap around the bottle. And you would think with this name, Black Bold, and everything is blacked out, and then it has the leather and everything, that it would be just aggressively assertive and maybe even animalic and funky and dirty. But it's really not. It's actually got a decent amount of freshness to it, especially off the top. I mean, with that ginger in there, it's pretty nice, just easygoing, frankly. And as it dries down, you do get the leather that comes out, you get the cedar that comes out, but it's not, as I said, difficult to wear. Just pretty easy going and very likable. For only 22 bucks, I think. It's a great little pickup. Under the radar because it is Kenneth Cole, but a very wearable masculine scent. And speaking of masculine scents, the last one here for me is like a poster child of manly fragrances. It's Dior's Fahrenheit. This is the original Eau de Toilette. Now, of course, nowadays, Fahrenheit Le Parfum, that would be the fragrance du jour to offer up in a list. And I think Fahrenheit Le Parfum is absolutely amazing. But when we're talking feeling unstoppable, the original, I feel bad for the Fahrenheit line, if I'm honest with you guys here. Bring back more Fahrenheit. All we got right now is the original Fahrenheit, and then Fahrenheit Cologne, which, let's be honest here, Fahrenheit Cologne is just not up to snuff when you put it up against some of the flankers that came before, you know, like Aqua Fahrenheit. And then Fahrenheit Le Parfum, which in the US is usually not very easy to find. So basically, when you say Fahrenheit nowadays, it's this and this. That's it. Violet, leather, and nutmeg, some of the notes in the fragrance, unmistakable. Fahrenheit is unmistakable. You smell this, you know what it is. You know what's up. And that is because, of course, the way that the violet and the leather here come across, in the opening especially, smells similar to gasoline or petrol. And it really does. I've got some vintage bottles of this stuff. I have some not so vintage bottles. Yes, there were reformulations over the years, so depending on when your bottle was made, it may smell more gasoline-y or less. Some bottles of Fahrenheit actually smell very vanillic instead of petrol-y, which is like, what are you doing? I bought this for the gas. Give me the gas. But this is a classic masculine fragrance, super powerful. Absolutely love Fahrenheit. Dior, give us more Fahrenheit. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Talk forever. 15 fragrances, heavy smelling, unstoppable. Unstoppable power. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.